Welcome to this episode of Play English. In today's episode, we're going to talk about, do students in Taiwan spend way too much time on academic affairs? So here we have Quentin.
Hi.
And Louis.
Hi.
So we're going to talk about this very Taiwanese things because I think a lot of students in Taiwan spend a lot of time on academic things. So Quentin, how much time do you spend on academic affairs?
More than 12 hours per day.
Per day?
Yes,
like,
per day.
what time do you wake up?
What
time do you get up? Or what time do you leave home?
I leave home at 7 o'clock. Like
Every day?
nearly 7
So
o'clock.
7 o'clock every day and
I...
what time are you like done with all school related things? Yes.
Like 10 o'clock maybe.
So that's like 12 hours?
Yes.
My math is really bad. So
Maybe 12
every day.
hours.
Do you go to cram schools?
Yes.
With that 12 hour?
Yes.
Okay. How about you? You have to be honest. You told us
that. I wake up at 7:50.
7:50?
Wake up.
So you live closer
7:50.
to school. He lives closer to school, I think.
7:50.
50, yes.
Then you are already late.
15. Not 50. Come on, 15.
7:50.
Okay, and 7:15, and then?
And I go out at 7:20.
7:20? Okay, and then what time do you come?
If we have today, we have recording
competition.
Yes. We have to
practice.
On a normal day, I mean, that's what I said.
Normal day, if we don't have 8 class, I will go back at 4:30.
4:30.
Because I have to
You have to have 3-hour break time.
4:30 I will go back to school. It's not. I am still at school.
Okay.
Because I have to
You have to have what?
Resetting.
You mean clean your stuff?
Yes.
Okay, and then when you go home, what do you do?
I will play phones.
So you have
fun.
just like what you said to us. You have 3 hours chilling time. So in that 3 hours, just chill out, do nothing.
Yeah.
All right, until
That's
what time?
unfair.
Until 8 o'clock. If
8 o'clock.
If I don't have any class between.
Okay, so not before that, no classes, and then after 8 o'clock, what would you do?
I will have homework.
So you do homework.
Yes.
And after you finish your homework, you will have
break time.
Break time again. Like how much break? How much time do you have?
Till 12 o'clock.
Until 12 o'clock, so you have 11 o'clock, so chilling time.
It's
so if you put all of that together, how much time do you spend on academic affairs? Now, on school things.
On school thing, I have 9 hours and 35 minutes.
9 hours and 31 minutes. So that's a lot less than yours. All right. So do you think that's too much?
Of course, that's too much.
You think it's too much because you're spending 12 hours on it. Okay. So what do you think is the main problem or main problems
I think
of students having to spend that much time?
Too much homework is one of the reasons.
Okay, too much homework, and then is there a second reason? Say one of the reasons.
And then I think there are too many too many unimportant competition
At school. Recorder.
Recorder competition.
Like music competition, stuff like that.
Yes.
I
need a.
It's okay. So everybody have to be a part of that.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think some of the teachers they say that it's your own competition, but after that they say you have to practice very hard, then you will get a great grade.
I think probably the main problem is not having all this competition. I think the main problem is probably because these competitions are compulsory.
Yes.
Do you know what compulsory is? That something that you're forced to do. You don't have a choice.
Yes.
It's compulsory. All right. And how about you? What do you think are the main problems of students spending too much time?
I think we have too much time at school.
So you think we have too many classes? That's what you mean.
And
homework. And homework too. So you think you have too much homework?
Yes.
Okay. So both of you mentioned having too much homework. Do we really have that much homework? How much time do you spend on doing homework?
Unless lower than an hour.
Less than an hour. So what amount of time would you consider to be reasonable to spend on doing homework?
Less than an hour, I think.
But you are spending less than an hour already.
Yes.
So that you think that's okay.
Yes.
But you cannot go beyond that.
Yes.
Okay. So less than an hour. What you?
Usually an hour, but sometimes you 2 hours.
2 hours. Sometimes you would spend 2 hours. Okay. I do want to ask you something. If I take the homework away, or if teachers take homework away, meaning you don't have to do homework anymore, can that greatly reduce the amount of time that students spend on academic affairs?
Yes.
Do you think that will be reasonable? Do you think it will be a good thing to do?
Yes, I think.
You think that's a good thing to do?
Yes, I think wiping out the thing of homework.
So taking away homework entirely?
Because right now we already have so much time at school. So I think wiping out homework is a very good idea.
Okay, what do you think?
Yes.
You think that's a good thing? But how can you argue with this point that somebody believe that we do need homework to learn?
That is.
Do we need homework to learn?
No.
I think.
Do we need homework to motivate students to do something at home? I think that's I think we cannot argue the fact that this is quite a popular idea among teachers because a lot of teachers believe
Because teacher cannot like.
that the problem is we cannot supervise kids at home, and the only way to make sure that they do the bare minimum is by giving them homework. Do you believe that? Do you share that belief? That's what I mean.
Because I think what is about it because what is before the Taiwan's education is about like writing homework. So we doesn't actually have our own habits to learn it by ourselves. So we doesn't have that ability at all.
But I don't think that's totally fair because even in foreign countries there is homework. They do homework too, but maybe in some places they do homework. They have different formats of homework.
Yes.
They do have standardized tests, but they do have something that is more report-based. So I think they kind of like find a balance between the two. But you also cannot argue with the fact that they do much worse than Asian students when it comes to academic affairs. The score, if we're all taking the same test, the scores from a lot of Western countries will be lower than the scores that we as Asian students score.
But I think
partially because we spend more time on it. Yeah.
Because I think we seem the score to be more important. So what we actually learn from school is score.
Mm-hmm.
Having more score is better.
Mm-hmm.
We have the equal line between the both.
You mean you have to strike a balance
Yes.
between the two things?
Yes.
You have to find the right balance between that. Okay, so you don't share that belief that if we don't do this, student will not learn, or you do share that belief that if we don't do this,
I
because
think-
you say something about habits.
Yes, but I mean like if we teach them from the start, we can. I think they would have the ability to learn by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But in Taiwan right now, we don't have the education about telling you how to learn by yourself. What we do is we given you homework and you have to do the homework or you get punishment, something like that, to force you to do the homework, like
Okay.
forcing you to learn.
I think we should come back to this point because you did bring up a very interesting argument. What do you think? Do you think that students need homework to learn?
No.
You don't think so? Why not?
Yes, we can read books at home.
And you told us something else. Told us a little secret of yours. Nothing. I'm not forcing you to say anything. Okay, so you say that we can actually read at home. But do you know any students who you think, in your opinion, will not do anything without homework? Would you read if there's no homework?
Yes.
Would you read if there's no homework?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. So there's a chance that it will happen. Okay, but you did bring up a very interesting argument. You say that I forgot what you say. You were saying something about homework.
Mm-hmm.
Can you remind me of what you said?
I said that I think giving homework is like forcing student to study.
Yeah, it's like forcing students to study, but I kind of remember something, but it slipped through my mind. I couldn't remember what it is right now. Anyway, we'll go back to this later. So you do think that homework is a problem, and maybe we need to do something about it, or maybe trying to find a balance
Change it,
between
yes.
like having personal time and homework. Okay, but you did say something about cram school too, because a lot of Asian students actually go to cram schools.
Yeah.
Do you think cram school is also a big personal time killer?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so why do people go to cram schools? Or what do you think the problem is behind that?
Because they cannot read. Because they cannot read the books by themselves.
No,
You mean they cannot understand? They cannot understand all the things on the test. Is that what you mean? Okay.
They cannot know by themselves.
So they need teachers from cram school to help them. But what can they get that kind of help from their school teachers?
Because
Or that is just not enough?
it's not enough, and in school they don't have that much time.
What do you mean? But would you say they spend too much time at school?
It's
You mean personal time with the teacher?
Yes.
Okay, so they do need personal time from the teacher to help them with some academic things,
Yes.
like some of the questions, some of the problems they do not know how to solve or answer.
Yes.
Okay, so you think we need more personal time with the teachers?
And I think what we need cram school is like, for some reason, the teachers in school doesn't actually do their job at all. So the student cannot actually learn from their lessons. So they have many questions but they cannot like hold the teacher for the whole day. So they have to use more money to have another teacher teaching him. Like so the teacher can come the teacher at home can concentrate at what question that the person, like just one person, so he can concentrate on more questions on the person.
But what you're saying is more like a private tutor, not a cram school.
Yes.
So you think having private tutor is more efficient than going to a cram school? Would you say that? Like having a teacher of your own is better than
Yes.
having sharing a teacher with the
Yes.
with the numbers of students.
Because that will be more that will be faster, and then the effect of it will be better.
So I think one thing both of you do agree on is that we need more alone time with the teacher. But the reason why we're not getting it is because in modern setting, in the setting of a school, it's not possible. Because education is like one of the fundamental human rights. And being a fundamental human right also means that we do not pay that much money or spend that much resources on that. Like we're not willing to pay like thousands and thousands of dollars for like 1 year. Like a first grade student, we're not willing to pay that much. And it's also because of that reason we're not getting like one-on-one tutoring at school. Because if that is true, it means we will need at least 30 teachers or 40 teachers per class. How many students do you have in your class?
23.
23. So we need 23 teachers.
Yes.
Something like that. Or we need a new way of teaching, a new way to reach the students. We need to kind of like we need to get more teachers in the class, but not actually increasing the numbers of teachers in the class. Like some of the more experimental teaching methods that some other schools are using.
Another way to.
Probably, but we have to use technology and stuff like that to teach. Okay, so but you also say something about teacher not wanting to teach.
Like because right
Care
now
to elaborate on
some
that?
of the teacher they just want to have their own salary, and then after they retire, they will have their retire money. So
Yeah, not really passionate
yes.
about being a teacher anymore.
They aren't passionate about what they are teaching. So you cannot feel the passion in their lesson, so you will feel like it's very
Boring.
Yes.
It's very boring. Have you seen a lot of teachers like that, or have you heard about?
I've heard about and have.
Would you say the rate of encountering such a teacher is quite high in Taiwan?
But
According to your personal opinion.
but what I think is some of the teacher is because what they are saying is not like you cannot understand what is he or she is talking about. So you cannot relate it with him or her. So I think sometimes that's a big problem. So that's why they have to find what the teacher that they can relate it to.
Okay, so what do you think? Do you think what he said is true? Do you find what he said to be true? Have you met teachers like that?
Boring teacher.
Not boring teacher, but a person without passion.
You mean the teacher is not patient?
Passion, like he or she is not passionate about the things that they're doing. They do not spend maybe a lot of time on it.
You're saying teacher or student?
Teachers.
I think I didn't.
You haven't met a teacher like that?
Yes.
Okay. But we cannot count, it's not about boring or not boring, because some teacher, although their teaching methodology might not be as exciting as some of the other teachers, that does not mean that the teacher is not passionate about teaching. It just means that maybe that's his or her style. And we cannot hold that accountable. Oh, I do remember what I want to ask you. You say something about teaching the kids to learn by themselves. When should we start the education?
From the
First grade? Personally, I think it should start earlier than first grade.
like in kindergarten.
Not in kindergarten, but at home. I think that parental influence is a key element in the getting the kids to understand the importance of self-learning, motivation, stuff like that. I would say that family plays a huge part in setting the stage ready for the kids to kind of like at home. We're setting the stage ready, so when the kids reach a certain age, when they're at school, they can use that stage because the stage is set.
Yes.
So they can spread their talents, they can show what they can do. But if the stage is not there, it will be very difficult for any teacher to build a kind of connection that is deep enough to motivate a person from the ground up. It'll be very difficult.
Because a teacher cannot a teacher like in elementary school you only can have a teacher with you for 2 years.
It's not just about the amount of time that you have with the teacher, because some teacher can be really influential, even giving the person like 2 or 3 years, the person can be deeply influential in the person's life. It's not just about time, it's about the amount of devotion that the teacher have to put into the thing. And it's not reasonable to ask the person to do it to 30 kids. It's very difficult, and it's very difficult, so that kind of like depends on like different people. Like some teachers are really good at it, they can motivate their kids in ways that other teachers cannot dream of. But because it's not a universal skill set, we should not base everything on the teacher's ability, because we cannot really be sure what kind of teacher we will encounter when we enter the school. So I do think this kind of education should start earlier, when we are at home. The parents should be the role model. I do think the parents should be the role model.
I think the parents are very important.
Yeah, I do think so
Character
too.
in
In a child's life. It's true. It is true. But it's a very interesting perspective. I do think there's a cultural thing to it. Because in Taiwan, although we talk about independence, like being your own person, but we do not treat the idea of independence the same as like American or European.
You have to we have many traditional opinions.
Yes, and also because the family members
Are
closely tied together. Like we are still very close to our parents, and we spend a lot of time with our parents. And our parents spend a lot of time, a lot of years helping us, even when we are in colleges.
Like parents having too much help for a child make the child
less independent.
Yes.
It's true, but also in exchange we get better family connection. Like family members are closer. I think that's a cultural thing. It's not about which one is right, which one is wrong. But I do think in this case that parents actually play a bigger role in motivating their kids, because we do not have this urgency pushing the kids into their own people. They have to like be me. I have to be responsible for my own life because there will always be people helping me, so I do not have this urgency to be my own person. And because of that, I do think being role models, teachers and parents, being role models of our next generation is very important. All right. So, about tests, about the way we study. I think a part of the reason why we spend a lot of time on academic fairs is also because we have this thing called standardized test. Like you have a lot of tests every day. Do you have how many tests do you have per day?
One.
Like every day.
1 to 2.
1 to 2.
And before test is like 3 or 4.
Okay. How about you?
Like 4 to 5. Or yes, 4 to 5.
4 to 5 tests per day? Like every day have 4 to
like,
5 different tests?
In total, like
For a week.
Like now we have 3, but in the before test like 7 or 8.
Okay. So do you think that's a lot? Like we do way too many standardized tests? Or what's your opinion on standardized testing?
I think that's why we have so many standardized tests in Taiwan is because it's more easier for a teacher to
In what aspect?
to grading a student, to giving a score without their own opinion because they already have a right answer in front of them. So it will make a shorter time, or like some teacher will just ask the student to change their test and then score by themselves.
And it also eliminates the influence of personal preference. Do you know what's personal preference? Like I like it, I don't like it. It depends on different people. What do you think? Having standardized tests, is that good?
No.
Or bad?
No.
You think that's bad? Why do you think that's bad?
Because someone will use the small memory, the small
Short-term memory.
Yes.
To kind of like memorize all the answers.
Yes, that is not.
It's not learning.
It's not their real. They will not just know before the test, and after the test they forget.
Okay. So do you think we should have less standardized tests? Or we can stick with what we have right now?
I think we can just. I think we
Or
still
maybe
have
what
to
else
have
do we have to
standardized tests, or our teacher will be too busy of
Designing their
Yes.
own curriculum,
Yes.
own classes, stuff like that. Okay. And then?
And then I think there's another problem is some teacher in Taiwan like to make the standardized test very, very difficult. Very, very difficult.
Okay.
Like they make their own test.
Their own version of the
Yes,
test.
their own version of test. And but what they write what they typed on the test is not we cannot actually know what he or she is asking. So then many people get lower points, lower score that they should they have the score like what they have reviewed and what they have known, like they should have a score like at 80 to 90 something, but because of the teacher what the teacher
Because
typed
the
out,
difficulty of the
Yes.
test.
yes, so they are lower, like much more lower because they cannot actually read the questions. They cannot actually get what the question is about. So I think that's a very big problem.
So you think making the question unnecessarily hard is
Yes.
a problem?
Yes.
Okay. Agree? Agree? How about reports? Do you favor, like in foreign countries, like in America or some Western countries, they do reports sometimes?
But I think reports have another weakness is about it's more easy to cheat
How so?
in the internet there are
So
so many.
you're saying that they can copy things from
Yeah,
internet?
there are so many different reports in the internet. It's very easy to copy one of them.
How about projects on the report? Like something you have to spend a lot of time doing.
Project is
Kinda
like
like-
a team project.
A team project, something like kind
I
of
think
like
a team project have another point. Problem is about like some of the
I know what you're talking about.
some of the person in the team will just
Some people in the team.
some people in the team will not care about it, but they still got the same score of what the others give into the project. So I think that is a big problem because I think that is already a very big problem even in the USA or other country.
You're talking about the people who want chilling time.
Yes.
Yeah.
But not giving their own strength.
So we need to sum up our talk. Do you think the education of Taiwan in Taiwan is okay, or is there anything else you want to add that you hope to see a change in that department in the future? What's studying from you
I think we are starting to change, but what we are changing is too slow. Like we are slower than some of our other countries. So
what do you think is the one of the changes that you would like to see being implemented into our education system?
I would like to see the students have more of their own time.
Like allowing students to have more time.
Yes, their own time, so they can do more things. They can do more things to have their own special ability to do something else.
Okay, they can cultivate their
Yeah, they
ability. That's what you mean. Okay, Louis, what do you think? I can see that you're extremely tired.
What?
You're extremely tired. You have raccoon eyes. So what do you think? Do you think the education that
You don't know the question.
are experiencing right now, is it okay? Do you like the education that you're getting now? Or is there some changes that you would like to see?
What education?
Education means the schools.
Oh, school.
Yeah. Do you like schools?
No.
You don't like schools. So what changes would you like to see? Like homework.
What
tests?
changes will make you like school?
Yeah, by making these things different can actually make this a much better and much enjoyable experience.
No homework, no test.
No teachers.
No teachers.
No classes.
So we're learning from computers.
The time in school like shorter, and the class minute like 45 minutes is too long.
So you do think
class-
that okay per like the time that we have per class, like 45 minutes too long. What would be reasonable time?
Because everyone
No.
everyone will like sleeping, and no one is teacher saying. Like teacher asks question, do you all know? And no one
Answer.
says it.
That is a very typical way, a typical question that teacher will answer. Do you understand?
But someone will say it, and then the teacher will think we understand, but no one understand.
Okay, so you would like to see that changed. The amount of time they just spend per class, 45 is too long. No homework.
Yes, no test.
No tests.
And in school time shorter.
Oh, okay. So, what would be a reasonable time to go home?
I think 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay. So, now we have to end this episode. Now, if you like this video, please drop a like or subscribe. Now, hope to see you in our next video.
Bye bye.
Alright.